back to Within and Without, a path to mindful living. In this series, Journey Through the Gita, we explore ancient wisdom and uncover its relevance for modern living. Last time, we delved into the transformative insights of Chapter 3 on Karma Yoga, where we discussed the power of action without attachment, how to perform duties selflessly, and the role of inner discipline in navigating life's challenges. Today, we're unraveling the profound teachings of Chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge. While Chapter 3 focused on Karma Yoga, the yoga of action and selfless duty, Chapter 4 builds on this by introducing the concept of Jnana Yoga, emphasizing the wisdom that guides our actions. This progression from action to understanding offers a holistic approach to mindful living. I'm your host, Arya Elina, and with me, as always, is our insightful guest, Rayan Wells. Rayan, welcome back.
Thank you, Arya. It's great to continue this journey together. Chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, offers profound insights touching on the eternal cycle of wisdom, selfless action, and the transformative power of divine guidance. I'm thrilled to explore these themes with our audience today.
Absolutely. This chapter not only provides philosophical depth, but also highlights how divine knowledge can guide us in this chaotic world. Today, we'll discuss its teachings through the lens of mindfulness by examining how Krishna's guidance fosters self-awareness, intentional action, and balance in chaotic situations. We'll explore its relevance in modern life and challenge each other's perspectives to offer you a well-rounded and engaging discussion. What do you say, Rayan?
Looking forward to it, and knowing you, Arya, I'm sure we'll have some spirited debates.
Let's start with a quick overview. Chapter 4 focuses on Jnana Yoga, the yoga of knowledge. It's about seeking deeper truths and understanding the self and the universe through wisdom. Rayan, what does Jnana Yoga mean to you in practice?
Great question, Arya. Jnana Yoga is about disciplined inquiry into the self and reality, often through reflective practices and studying teachings like the Bhagavad Gita.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how this encourages self-awareness and the shedding of illusions. For instance, mindfulness practices like meditative introspection help identify illusions about ourselves and foster clarity.
Exactly, Arya. And Krishna explains this beautifully through the eternal cycle of imparting knowledge. This can be compared to how modern societies preserve traditions or document knowledge through digital archives and practices, ensuring continuity across generations. Technologies like cloud storage and digital libraries have made this process more accessible and universal, allowing even the smallest cultural traditions or niche academic discoveries to reach a global audience.
This concept resonates with modern ideas of knowledge preservation, such as the way cultural traditions or scientific discoveries are passed through generations. Don't you think, Rayan, this adapting while retaining essence is a key aspect of timeless wisdom?
Absolutely, Arya. It's fascinating how this ancient text discusses knowledge transmission across ages, drawing parallels to how we preserve wisdom today. It is. Krishna speaks about teaching this knowledge to the sun god and how it was passed down through disciplic succession. Arya, how do you think this underscores mindfulness in action?
I think it's about being fully present and purposeful. For example, consider a parent who patiently helps their child with homework. Don't you think, Rayan, this shows how mindfulness transforms even mundane activities into meaningful connections?
Exactly. That kind of presence strengthens connections and exemplifies how mindfulness transforms everyday activities.
True, but don't you think this idea of divine knowledge could feel inaccessible or overly mystical for modern audiences? Perhaps you can share an example, Rayan, of how these teachings manifest in relatable ways in today's world.
Good point, Arya. But I'd argue it's about aligning ourselves with timeless truths rather than seeing them as out of reach. For example, the principle of selfless action connects directly to how modern workplaces value collaboration over competition, or how mindfulness practices today stress the importance of living intentionally rather than reactively.
That's an interesting perspective, Rayan. Can you give an example of selfless action in history or everyday life?
Of course. A powerful example is Mahatma Gandhi's leadership during India's independence movement. By placing the collective needs of the nation above his own, Gandhi embodied the spirit of selfless service, inspiring millions to act with purpose and unity. Similarly, in everyday life, acts like volunteering for community service or mentoring colleagues at work highlight how selfless action fosters growth and harmony both personally and collectively.
I see. How do modern practices like mindfulness and self-reflection help bridge the gap between ancient principles and contemporary life?
Modern practices offer accessible ways to connect with these truths. For example, setting aside time to consciously observe our thoughts or engage in gratitude practices allows us to embody these ancient principles in daily life.
One of my favorite verses in this chapter is where Krishna says, "Whenever there is a decline in righteousness, I manifest myself." This reminds me of how the cyclical nature of Dharma applies to our personal and societal lives. Wouldn't you say, Rayan, that it's a call to self-correction when we drift from our values?
Absolutely, Arya. Just as societies reform laws to maintain order, mindfulness involves constant self-assessment to stay aligned with core values. It's about recognizing when our thoughts or actions stray from our core values and bringing them back to center.
Interesting. But doesn't the concept of Krishna's divine intervention suggest dependency? Could it lead people to rely solely on external guidance rather than cultivating their own inner strength? How does this align with the idea of mindfulness fostering personal empowerment, Rayan?
That's a fair challenge. I'd argue they complement each other. Krishna's teachings promote self-awareness and intentional action, which are integral to mindfulness.
Rayan, that's a powerful perspective. Would you say these teachings hold specific relevance in daily struggles, such as balancing personal and professional responsibilities?
That's a fair question, Arya. Krishna's teachings encourage self-awareness and intentional action, which are pillars of mindfulness. In day-to-day life, this could involve setting aside time to plan tasks with clear intentions, such as deciding to spend uninterrupted moments with family or focusing fully on a work project. These practices help ground us in the present, ensuring our actions align with our values and long-term goals. What do you think, audience? Is spirituality a crutch or a guide for personal growth?
Rayan, with all the stress and distractions we face today, like constant notifications, tight deadlines, and the pressure to always be on, how do you think the teachings of Chapter 4 help us?
2 words: purposeful action. Krishna emphasizes performing duties without attachment to results. This aligns with modern mindfulness practices that teach us to focus on the process rather than obsessing over outcomes. For example, in a workplace setting, this principle can help manage stress by encouraging individuals to give their best effort without being overly fixated on promotions or performance reviews. Similarly, in personal goals like fitness or learning, embracing the journey rather than the end result fosters consistency and mental peace.
But isn't that easier said than done? In our results-driven world, detaching from outcomes can feel almost impossible.
Absolutely. It's a challenge, but that's where mindfulness comes in.
Sadhguru's inner engineering and Dalai Lama's teachings on compassion seem to focus on cultivating detachment in unique ways. For example, inner engineering encourages self-mastery through guided practices, while the Dalai Lama's teachings focus on compassion as a path to release ego-driven desires. What are your thoughts, Rayan?
Absolutely, Arya. Inner engineering, for example, offers techniques to align one's body and mind, making it easier to approach tasks with calm detachment.
That's fascinating, Rayan. How does this compare to the Dalai Lama's approach?
The Dalai Lama, on the other hand, emphasizes compassion through daily affirmations and meditations, helping to let go of ego-driven desires. For instance, his reflective meditations focus on spreading kindness to oneself and others.
And how about Sadhguru's practices, like Surya Kriya?
Sadhguru's practice of Surya Kriya involves energizing the body and focusing the mind through a series of breath and body movements, fostering a deep connection to one's inner self.
Deepak Chopra also has a distinct approach, doesn't he?
Yes, similarly, Deepak Chopra emphasizes the power of mindful awareness and visualization techniques, which help individuals connect with their inner purpose and align their energy with personal intentions.
That's an interesting point, Rayan. How do you think this contrasts with the Dalai Lama's reflective meditations?
The Dalai Lama encourages reflective meditations where one visualizes spreading kindness to themselves and others, a practice that reduces ego-driven attachments and enhances emotional clarity. This complements Sadhguru's approach, which focuses on aligning inner energies through physical and meditative practices, offering a blend of compassion-driven and energy-focused mindfulness techniques.
That's fascinating. Do you think these approaches have practical applications in today's fast-paced world?
Absolutely. For example, in inner engineering, participants engage in meditative practices like Shambhavi Mahamudra, which trains them to observe thoughts and emotions without reacting impulsively. Similarly, the Dalai Lama often speaks about cultivating compassion through daily affirmations and visualizations, encouraging us to let go of our ego and connect with a larger sense of purpose.
That's quite insightful. How about a workplace setting? Can these practices help navigate conflicts or challenges?
For instance, inner engineering offers tools to align your body and mind with your inner energies, making it easier to approach tasks with calm detachment. Similarly, the Dalai Lama's guidance on practicing compassion emphasizes letting go of ego-driven desires, fostering a sense of peace and purposeful action. In a workplace setting, this could help individuals navigate conflicts by focusing on understanding and kindness, rather than reacting with frustration or ego. This tangible approach shows how compassion-driven mindfulness can transform personal and professional interactions.
And one I love is Sadhguru's Isha Kriya, which emphasizes being aware of the body, breath, and thoughts without identifying with them. Personally, I've found it incredibly impactful during moments of stress. It helps me step back, observe my emotions, and respond with clarity rather than reacting impulsively. It's like observing yourself from a higher plane. Looks like we have drifted our discussion a little further away from the Bhagavad Gita. Let's come back and delve further more on Arjuna and Krishna. Krishna's role as a teacher and Arjuna's willingness to learn stand out in this chapter. Krishna's mentorship exemplifies clarity, patience, and adaptability, qualities that modern leaders and educators can emulate. Don't you think, Rayan?
Absolutely, Arya. For instance, Krishna tailors his guidance to Arjuna's specific doubts and needs, illustrating the importance of personalized mentoring. In leadership, this could translate to understanding team members' unique strengths and challenges, fostering growth through tailored support. Similarly, educators can draw from Krishna's approach to encourage critical thinking and resilience in students by addressing individual questions with empathy and insight.
Rayan, what lessons do these characters impart about mindfulness?
Krishna embodies stillness amidst chaos, showing us how to guide others with clarity. This idea ties directly to modern mindfulness techniques, such as grounding exercises, where individuals focus on their breath or physical sensations to stay calm and composed during stressful situations. By embodying this stillness, Krishna not only sets an example for Arjuna, but also inspires us to approach challenges with a centered mind and unwavering focus. For instance, modern mentors often lead with composure in high-pressure situations, like Krishna. One example is Nelson Mandela, who displayed unwavering calm and leadership during tumultuous times in South Africa, inspiring others through his clarity and purpose. Arjuna teaches the importance of humility, acknowledging our confusion and seeking guidance, a trait valuable in learning and growth environments today. Together, they model the teacher-student dynamic, crucial for growth.
Do you think Arjuna's initial doubts make him more relatable?
Absolutely. Doubts are the first step to deeper understanding. In mindfulness, we learn to question our thoughts without judgment, much like Arjuna does with Krishna's guidance.
Let's hear from you, our audience. How do you stay mindful when life gets overwhelming? We'd love to hear your personal stories and specific techniques, whether it's a breathing exercise, a gratitude journal, or a daily mantra. Sharing your experiences can inspire others in our community to find their own mindfulness practices. Rayan, as we approach the end of this episode, what key takeaways would you like our audience to carry with them?
Transcendental knowledge fosters self-awareness, humility, and purposeful action.
In daily life, this could mean pausing to reflect on your decisions and ensuring they align with your core values.
Exactly, Arya. It's also about dedicating time each day to practices like journaling or meditation. These habits nurture self-awareness and purpose, helping us stay grounded and aligned with higher principles. It's about aligning with higher principles to navigate life with mindfulness and clarity.
Well said, Rayan. Before we wrap up, let's try a quick mindfulness exercise inspired by this chapter. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and visualize yourself as Arjuna on the battlefield, surrounded by uncertainty. Afterward, take a moment to reflect. What challenges in your life feel like battles? What inner strength or clarity can you draw upon to face them? Consider journaling your thoughts to explore this further. Focus on your breath, imagining Krishna's calm and reassuring voice guiding you towards clarity. What message does he share with you? Reflect on it and see how it resonates with your current challenges. Thank you for joining us on this journey. In the next episode, we'll explore Chapter 5, diving deeper into the practice of detachment and selfless action. We'll ask thought-provoking questions like, how can we truly let go of attachment in a results-driven world? And what does selflessness look like in modern relationships and careers? Join us as we continue this insightful journey.
Thank you, Arya. It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you and our listeners.
And to our listeners, remember, knowledge is transformative only when applied. If you found value in today's discussion, don't forget to subscribe to Within and Without, a path to mindful living, and share it with others. Your feedback and suggestions are invaluable and help shape the themes and discussions of future episodes, making our journey together even more meaningful. See you next time.
Arya, this has been a truly insightful conversation. I hope our listeners are taking away practical wisdom to apply in their lives.
I hope so too, Rayan. Until then, stay mindful and stay curious.
Join us on Within and Without, a path to mindful living as we explore the art of mindfulness together. Subscribe to our channel for more insights and practices to bring mindfulness into your everyday life.